Hello guys, my name is Michal Hucko and welcome to another video of our Pandas tutorial. In this video we're gonna talk about other functionality which is available for you in Pandas. So let's jump right back into Jupyter Lab. So first of all, in this video we're gonna work with the housing price dataset train CSV the same way as we did in the previous videos. So let's say you want to group by year built and then you want to know the sale price of the houses based on the year built, right? So, the Pandas provides you the way to sort the output of the data frame. So the easiest way to sorting it is just by calling the sort values where there is an ascending parameter, which is then sorting the results based on the ascending order. This can be quite useful. The syntax is as simple as this. You can also do it this way. So having a whole data frame, you can sort the whole data frame based on the name of the column and specifying whether you want the ascending or not, right? Okay, so maybe this was helpful for you and you will use it. So sorting in the Pandas is as simple as this. So many of you may ask, well, okay, how efficient is this sort? Well, is it a quick sort or what is it? I can tell you that Pandas is using as optimized sort as possible. So if you are looking for, the fastest way to sort data frame, this is exactly the answer for you. Now, when we go next, sometimes we want to know the correlations, right? And those of you who are not familiar too much with the statistics, I can explain the correlation like for example, I will explain it with the example, okay? So, but you can compute the correlation matrix for each of the attributes just by calling the core, right? Okay, I didn't read the Pandas data frame. So by calling the core method, this returns a whole correlation matrix. And as you can see, the correlation index in this case is, what does it mean? The correlation index is between -1 and 1. And what does it mean? When there is a 1, and so the correlation between two attributes A and B equals to 1 stands that whenever the A value is rising in the data, also the B value is rising, right? When there is a minus coefficient of -1 correlation coefficient, that means that that when the one value is lowering, the other value is lowering also, right? So having this correlation, we can see what are the values which correlate mostly with the sale price. And now we will leverage the sort values option for us. Okay, so one way is by running it like this, or you can immediately put the sale price inside here and then select the column which you are interested. So as you can see, the column which correlates mostly with the sale price, besides the sale price, because yeah, everybody is correlating with the same with the column with the same name. So the overall quality of the house is correlating mostly with the sale price. What does it mean? The higher quality of the house there was, the higher sale price there was at the end. Okay, which makes sense, of course. Now going next. As I mentioned before, Pandas has some couple of data types. So most easy one are the numerical one. You can run the arithmetical operations on the numerical data types. But what about the strings? So Pandas gives you the opportunity to work with the strings and also with the date times. So date times for some of you may be quite confusing data type. What is a date time? So date time is a data type which holds the information about the current date, and it can also hold the information about current hours in milliseconds, right? This can be quite helpful when you are working with some precise measurements and you have the dataset filled with precise measurements, and be able to work with the date times is one of the essentials. So Pandas provides you a method which is called toDateTime, and what is basically it's doing is just parsing the date into the datetime object. There is also something which is called a timestamp, and this is basically doing the same thing but from the timestamp object, right? And the results are the same. So as you can see, when you specify different strings, the Pandas is able to convert it into the same datetime over here. And it's also able to say, let's say you specify some seconds number and you want from these seconds to create the timestamp. So you specify a constructor for timestamp from the Pandas and you put it there like this, right? So these functions can be quite useful when working with the datetime, right? You can immediately, transfer So what is the use case? So you will read the data, you will read the CSV with the column with the date times. Then you will transform the whole column with this constructor just by saying it like pandas to date time, right? Name of the column, so df and name, and you will assign it to df name plus like datetime underscore datetime. Yeah, so the conversion of the strings into the datetime is as simple as running this function, right? So feel free to test it if you have the dataset with the datetime. Right, in this tutorial, I ain't gonna like show you how to work with the datetime dataset, but I will cover it in the next one, so feel free to leave it to the next tutorial. Okay? Now, we want to work with the datetime. Okay, so let's say you create the data frame with the datetime like this. For creation of the datetime, I'm calling the date range, which is generating for me basically the datetime where I specify the start, how many periods I want, and the frequency between each period. Then I'm converting it to frame, and I'm resetting the index, because the way like this thing, I can show you. So this, how does this thing work? So this thing is returning an datetime index, but when I convert this datetime index into the data frame, it has this wrong index, which I don't want to, so I'm just resetting the index. I showed you the reset index function before, and I'm dropping the column, because if I didn't drop the column, it will create a column called index, and I want to get rid of the index like with calling the drop true, right? So now I have a beautiful pandas data frame with one column called 0 with all the datetimes. And now, when you want to work with the column as a datetime, you need to call the attribute dt of the column. So I'm accessing the 0th column, like, note the difference. This is not a string, this is a number, right? So I'm accessing it as a number. I cannot run the dot notation because dot 0 will cause an error, so I'm putting it into square brackets. I'm calling the dt attribute of this column, and then I'm asking for the date, and it's always the same date. I can ask for the hour, right? I can ask for the seconds, nanoseconds, microseconds, second, minutes, hour, day, week, month, quarter, and even a year of the daytime. Then I can ask even funny stuff like, is it a leap year? Is it the month start? Is it the month? And stuff like this, right? So there are a couple of useful built-in functions connected with the datetime in Pandas. So feel free to go through them, and maybe you can experiment a little bit. This is just a toy example with the created datetime data frame for you. So just feel free to try something else. Okay, and now the most important part. Let's look at the working with strings. So I'm creating here the data frame with a couple of strings. Yeah. So Michal, Felipe, John, Katka, Michal, Lucko, Katka, Lucko, right? And when you work, Pandas provides you methods specifically for string, and when you want to access these methods, you need to call the attribute str of the column, right? So again, the 0 column, and then you can ask, well, show me the rows where the string attribute, the string column starts with the Michal, right? And only these two will be, okay. Then you can swap the case, you can repeat n times, and many other stuff, okay? So this was, in this video I showed you how you can work with different data types. I also show you some sorting functions. Hope you learned something new, useful from the Pandas, and I hope I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.